Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to take you through my DCA strategy because I have been very active within the euro dollar market. As you can see here, this is a daily time frame. I've been DCAing this whole move down. I've been very vocal about this on my channel as well. I'm currently getting out of a lot of positions now as we're coming into the Christmas period, but I think now is a great time to sort of go over the strategy, tell you about my risk management, entry points, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to show you a couple of positions on here so you can get the idea. Then we'll go to TradingView and we can go and back test and show you how I would do it in real markets. So you can see here, this is my most recent one. This is an absolute mess. This one definitely didn't go as I planned. I had to scale out of a lot of positions. I ended up losing around 0.5% on this whole thing. And that's, again, because I was just trying to flatten some positions and get out before Christmas. So that actually is my first loss on euro dollar since I've started this whole DCA journey. But you can see here, we sold here, and this was a loss. However, after this initial entry, we sold again, and this trade was profitable. Now, how is it profitable? Well, when we have this initial loss here, this loss is made up by all three of these wins. So we counteract the loss and it gives us profit. And also this loss is actually very small. Now, this is the same thing over and over. You can see again here, sell, profit, sell, profit. Same thing all the way over here. We're selling like crazy. Sold again up here, had to realize a loss here, and then closed out here in some profit. So the reason I was closing out of positions rather than leaving them and adding in is because of the risk management needed to make this type of strategy work is very disciplined and very strict. So if you are in a situation like this, and obviously this is in hindsight, so it's very clear that I could have held these and made even more money, and obviously could have held all the positions I scaled out of. But at the time, you don't know for a fact that that's going to happen. So you've still got to take precautions to manage your risk. So all of these positions are roughly 0.1 to 0.2% risk each. Whereas if you were risking, 1, 2, 3% on each position, and it just went against you, you could very easily blow your account. And it's not a good day for anyone. Your account just goes poof, goodbye, gone. You'll never see that money again. So that's why you've got to be very strict. And that leads me on to the next point is, if you are a new trader, please don't let this influence your trading, because as a new trader, you are inherently going to over risk. You're not going to understand fully how this type of system should be managed and how it should be used. So just keep this in mind. This is just the way I do it. So, go and back test it and make your own management system and entry signals and things. So we'll use euro dollar because that's what I just showed you. I can show you my thought process throughout the whole thing. So what we do, first of all, is start on the higher time frames. We just recognize what is the trend. Where is the market going? Where could the market eventually end up at? How can I capitalize? Well, very simply, we can see the weekly is bearish. We can see the daily is bearish. So the daily is this time frame here. We can see we made our high, and this was a double top. Now, that's kind of irrelevant, but we had our high. We came down, created a lower low. We've come back up, created a lower high, and now we are potentially creating our lower high right here after our lower low. So it's very clear that we're in a downtrend. I don't think it takes a genius to understand that. So what do we do? Well, we can move on to the lower time frame. So let's go on to, so this is the 15 minutes. I actually need to put this onto the 30 minutes because that's where I use this DCA strategy. So this is the settings for the Bollinger Bands. So we can leave that as they are. Let's go to the 30-minute and let me actually just get rid of this other indicator here. So all we need is this. So already we know we want to sell because of the higher time frames. We've got our Bollinger Band, and I'm going to explain all of this and how it all comes together as we go through this market. So let's just scroll back a little bit. This all started in sort of September. So we'll go to around here because this is sort of where my selling journey began. Now, something I should clarify, and I need to make this very clear, is that this strategy only works for me so well because I'm a fundamental and economic trader. So during this whole move on euro dollar, I've understood what's actually driving this market. We've had the Trump trade, we've had ECB aggressive easing cycle, we've had really bad eurozone data, positive US labor market, etc., etc. So for me, this trade was very simple and straightforward. It may not be the same case for you if you don't trade the same way I do, because again, I use the higher time frame trend. I also use macroeconomic trends to be able to do this. So if you're just using trends, it might be a little bit more difficult. So I'm just going to do this based on just price action from here. So you want to do basic analysis. So we've got our previous support here. So the way I trade, if I see a support or a resistance that gets broken, we look for the break that obviously has already happened. Then we look for this retest and then a continuation. Breaks and retests are a huge part of the way I trade. Where it's swing trading, day trading, DCA, doesn't really matter. All we're looking for is our points of entry. That's it. We don't need stop losses. We don't need take profits because obviously that defeats the points of DCA. So we've got our Bollinger Band as well. Now I'm going to talk about the Bollinger Band as it comes up. So we've reached the bottom here. So we can see this is the bottom of our Bollinger Band. So we don't want to start selling. We've also got our RSI down here that's oversold. So that's two things telling us the market is oversold. And I'm going to use quotations for that. So now isn't a good time. We need to wait for a higher price to start selling. So let's play through. And let's see if we can get our entry point. We've got sort of this period, this area here, where we've got the top of our Bollinger Band, and we've also got this next area here, which is our level of possible retest. We've also got a level above this, which is right here, which is obviously the current or previous resistance level where we could possibly sell again. Now, keep in mind, when we're DCAing, we actually want the market to go against us for the first 1 to 2 entries. And that gives us that sort of position building opportunity to then obviously build up our position, and then when we have that move that we are expecting to have, that's when we start making our profits. Whereas if we enter, let's say we entered here for example, and the market just dumps, that's good, we've made money, but we missed out on a lot more of the potential money we could have made because the market didn't give us any more opportunities to get in. So let's play through. Let me just redraw this, I didn't mean to get rid of that. Let's play through and see where we can get an entry. Still waiting for some sort of pullback higher. I'm not really keen on where the market is right now. Okay, so we've completely left this level. So I'm no longer interested now because we've missed it. The market's moved away. What we do have here is a area where we had news. So I'm now looking at this level of resistance and seeing if we can get to there. And if we can't, again, that's completely fine. So let's just play through slowly now and see what we can possibly get. Okay, so I'm going to sell here, and the reason is because we've just rejected the middle of this Bollinger Band, which is actually our 50 EMA that you can see here. So I'm going to sell 100k units is equal to 1 standard lot. So ignore kind of the lot size of, so we don't have an account balance here. It is just back testing, but this gives you an idea sort of how the trade could run. So we've broken there. So now you've got two options. Do you want to take profits? Obviously, we're now at this support level. Do you want to take your profits, or do you want to let the trade run? In my case, I'm going to let this trade run a little bit more. $83 for one lot. It's not really enough for me to call that a day. However, now what we've got is a nice move to the downside. We're currently in a, again, using air quotes, oversold market. So I'm going to close, and that's it. So that trade's done now. We didn't have an opportunity to get back in, unfortunately, but we did make money. So again, it's a plus, but we could have been better. We actually could have sold up here, but I was scrolling past a little bit too fast, which was annoying. So again, we're just going to look here. So right now, again, I'm going to go, actually, sorry, not right now. Although actually that may have been good. Just now looking at this Bollinger Band and the current price action here. So we've got this previous high that has almost been corrected with this move. Now we're almost as well up to the top of this Bollinger Band, and we're seeing a little bit of indecision here. So I'm tempted to go in for our first position on a short, and we'll see how the market reacts. Remember, we actually want the price to go against us a little bit at first to give us that second entry opportunity, which we have now got. Now this is a much more solid entry. The reason is because we've got our Bollinger Band, the top of the Bollinger Band's just been broken. We've also got this 200 moving average, which is still trailing above price very nicely. So for me, this looks like a very solid trade opportunity. So again, let's play through and see how it goes. Okay, very simple stuff so far, nothing too crazy. It's not quite ready to exit. Okay, now I'm happy to get out. So we've got a $300 win there. So as simple as that, we just add in on these pullbacks. So we could have actually added in here as well. However, I didn't. I probably should have done though in hindsight. But again, exiting, we came down to the bottom of our Bollinger Band. We had the RSI oversold on this second sell entry again. So let's just recap. We broke out of our Bollinger Band. The RSI, I think I forgot to mention this actually at the time, but the RSI here was overbought as well. So we're looking for these market extremes, again using air quotes. But we're looking for pullbacks, essentially. It's very, very simple. So obviously we know the market's going to the downside on the daily. I know that the economics are bearish on this market. So essentially, if we know this market's going to the downside, we want to sell on all of these pullbacks. Even if we get a large pullback and some consolidation, it just gives us more points to enter. So hopefully this is starting to come together for you guys. It's very, very simple stuff. Now, obviously, this isn't something you can just go and do. I'm not saying you should go onto any asset and just start doing this exact same strategy, because again, the reason I have had such good success with this over the past couple of weeks is because I'm very, very grounded in the fundamental and the economic drivers. I wouldn't now take this and just do it on, I don't know, gold, Bitcoin, any other type of asset. It just doesn't make sense for me to do that. So you could actually call this like a mean reversion strategy. I don't, because that's not really the way I view it, but it's a very similar concept. So actually here would have been a great sell opportunity as well. Unfortunately, I missed it because my Bollinger Bands were lagging a little bit. But yeah, that would have been a great position to get into. So let's just wait and see if we can find anything else. Okay, I'm going to sell here. Again, we're at the top of our Bollinger Band. We've got the RSI that's about to become oversold. So let's click sell and see what happens. And there we go. Obviously, that was a little bit, I assume this was a news move back in the day. But either way, the rules were met. So we close out for a nice profit. We're up $1,000. So I'm just going to wait for a possible correction of this move and see if we can get into another sell. So I'm actually going to sell again now. Same reasons. We've come to the top of our Bollinger Band here. We've had a bearish candle, which is a great confirmation. We've got our RSI that's overbought. So again, we go in for the sell and we see what happens. Now I'm going to sell again because we've come up to this previous high where we had the news. So it makes sense to go in for another short. Now, we've not yet had an opportunity to sort of show off the risk management, so I am hoping we can get some actual like drawdown here so you can see how I would handle that, because obviously it's not always going to be this easy and this smooth. I'm not going to sell again just because we're basically at our second entry point anyway. Okay, another $500. I'm going to close that one. So that's done. So we've not really had an opportunity to show off the full risk management, but what we can do is just go over something. So let's say we were in this position, and let's just hypothetically say you also wanted to go in here, but the drawdown was a little bit too much. Maybe you risked a bit much. You would close this, exit, just like realize the loss, add in again here. You can, and I'm going to say this, but it's not me telling you to do this, and it's not something I would really do either. What you can also do is actually increase your position size. So this will obviously, if these two positions end in a profit here, and this one took a loss here, but this position right here is double the lot size of your first position right here, then this profit is easily going to wipe out your initial loss. Now that's called martingale, and again, that's extremely high risk and very dangerous to do, so I'm definitely not suggesting that. It's just an example of something you could think about. If you're an experienced trader, you know what you're doing, you know how to handle risk. Now again, we're looking for an aggressive move back up. We are oversold. We're down at this support level here. We've got our RSI here oversold. We're down. We keep pushing this Bollinger Band down and down and down. So this tells me we need to see some sort of correction here for us to start selling this market again. And actually, that would have been a great place to sell, but unfortunately, I didn't. So you know, hindsight's a bitch sometimes. So we'll continue to play through and see what we can get. Now, unfortunately, I missed the sell right here. I should have really gone in. So I'm going to sell now. It's a little bit late, but it's completely fine. Again, the idea really is for price to move against us, which isn't a bad thing. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to go for another sell. And this is a good place to say, your risk is very important because this position here, again, if you over risked, this candle could have been quite detrimental to your equity. So there we go. We are seeing quite a strong pullback here. So that's good. So let's see what happens from here. Okay, so we're now in profit, or should be. Yeah, cool. And I am actually just going to close out. So this profit isn't much. I mean, we're in a relatively large drawdown, give or take. And the profit that we're going to take doesn't match that drawdown. And unfortunately, that's the downside of this sort of strategy. You're not going for those huge R&R gains. This isn't really about R&R. It's a completely different ball game. You're going just for the monetary gain, regardless of what you're risking. Obviously, that's a bit of a spectrum. Obviously, you don't want to risk thousands of dollars to take $10 back. That's not worth it. But in this situation, I'm happy to take it. Again, our exit rules are here. We've got the RSI oversold. We keep pushing this Bollinger Band down, so that's completely fine for me to take profits in my view. Now we're up to 1800 in profit just by clicking sell. that's as simple as it is. And again, I keep saying it's simple, and I don't want to give you false hope. I'm not saying that this is an easy infinite money glitch, because it definitely isn't. This is also fast track to blow account. Again, if you don't manage your risk, I need to keep that in mind. So you need to keep that in mind, that this really isn't just something you can continue to do on any market and it works. It's not a money printer. There is no such thing that exists. So we're going in for another short. Again, exactly the same thing. We've got a 200 moving average here as well. We've got the top of the Bollinger Band. RSI is overbought. So we're going to go in for another short position and we'll see how this one goes. So I'm actually going to click sell again here. Now this is quite close to our first entry point. So it's not the best position, but it's okay for now. Again, we can always cut positions. We don't have to stay in them if we don't like them. Don't be stubborn. Don't be egotistical. So again, we'll let this play through, see how it goes. We are consolidating, but that's okay. Okay, taking profits here, $430 secured. I keep drawing. There we go. Okay, cool. That's done. So you can see 2,200 now. So you can understand how just having this bias in the market, we know the daily's on a downtrend, we know the economics are bearish, we've got this momentum in the market, so we can just keep capitalizing on. So it's very simple stuff, really. So again, here, might look to sell in a couple of minutes. Let's see. We can come up slightly higher. Okay, I'm going to sell here. So again, it's not the perfect entry. We aren't quite at the top of this Bollinger Band. The RSI isn't quite overbought, but again, we want the market to go against us a little bit, so we can get that final entry or get that secured better entry. Okay, well, actually up here would have been an amazing short position, but we're going to play through a little bit more. We're going to sell again. Okay, there we go. We're closing again for $300. I keep using the drawing tool. It's a bit annoying. $300 secured. We're now up to $2,500 in profit. So I think you've got the idea now. So I don't think we need to keep going over this. But we didn't have a single losing trade. And we've made, actually, was it almost a 100% win rate, I think, roughly? But yeah, very, very strong results. And again, I need to reiterate this because I don't want to be responsible for you guys damaging your finances in any way at all. So this isn't something new traders should do. This isn't something you should do if you aren't able to accept a loss and you aren't able to have the discipline to just close out of a trade and accept that you're wrong. It's dangerous. Quite simply, obviously, trading is dangerous anyway, but normally with trading, we have a set stop loss somewhere, even above the previous high, for example, and then, we get stopped out, fine, move on to the next trade. In this situation, you don't have that safety net. So if you're not playing this in the correct way, there's nothing stopping the market continuing to go up and you blow your account. There is nothing to prevent that happening. So you have to be on top of what you're doing. You have to be on top of the markets, your risk, your entry points, those types of things. So guys, that's it for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you've found any value in this video at all. And thank you for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you later.